Hello, everybody. We are back here on the Beading Dreams stream with our button list episode on myths and legends and facts surrounding opals. Opals, I know, are a favorite gemstone of a lot of you on our stream, and opals are a gemstone that has a very rich and diverse history of myths, legends, facts, and some really interesting facts that actually are going to pertain to how opals might actually form part of the future of space exploration. So we're going to cover all of those things this evening in the next hour and a half or so. Are you ready, Heather?
I am. Who doesn't like space opals?
Exactly. Who doesn't like space opals? Wait. Nope. Wait. Where are you?
I'm hidden because I don't know how to
There you are.
move it. I never can remember how to take it out, so I just hide it.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's... There. Wait.
Well, that's not working.
Well, that's not you. Heather is a ghost.
I definitely am not see-through.
Okay. Let's...
Oh.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if... Nope. No, you're not there. Heather, where are you?
As far as I know, I'm right here.
But you're not there. I can't see you. No one can see you. You've disappeared from sight.
How does it do that?
Yeah, no, the Heather cam is, yeah. Okay, so bear with us while we fix some of these technical difficulties. Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing is theoretically eventually this is going to be a podcast, so there's not going to be any visual,
But just trust us that I'm invisible.
Yeah, but let me just for a second see if I can maybe make a Heather appear magically before us. Hi, Julie! We're having a wee smidge of technical difficulties because Heather is apparently a ghost. And
I definitely ate plenty today not to be able to see through me. I'm crying. No one can see it though, so is it really happening?
Right?
Oh, that's Allison. I'm Heather.
What?
Well, there was never a time for me to say I'm Heather.
Oh.
So
well,
I'm just doing it now that we're
okay.
talking about me anyway.
Yes. Hi, I'm Allison.
I'm Heather.
And we're from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. So as soon as I figure out if I can actually put a Heather on the screen, we're going to start talking about...
opals and how cool they are.
Opals and how cool they are and how weird the legends are about them, and also how some of them are rooted in pseudo factoids, and some of them there's a Heather, look at that. Okay, yay. All right, so I'm Allison.
Is there a light though? And I'm Heather.
And we're from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We're going to talk about opals. And there's all kinds of interesting factoids and rumors and myths and legends about opals. The primary superstition often seems to be that opals are bad luck, opals are cursed, opals mean death, but that wasn't always the case, and we're going to take a little journey down the lane of how it got there. But first, we are going to start with, and hold on, I'm going to see if I can put you in this scene as well, all by your self.
Oh my.
All your by self.
Oh my myself.
All your by self. Let's see. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna do that. And that, I believe, is a Heather. Nope.
We'll see. No.
Nope. Okay, fine. For some reason, it only works in this frame, so I'll just make you bigger.
Well.
Anyway, so wow, what did I just do to my hair? So we're going to explore kind of how opals got to the cursed gem label, and how that happened, and what is fact and what is fiction. And there's a lot of fiction, and then there's a lot of manipulated fact. But let's start with talking about what opals actually are, like chemically. what are they, and what are some of the differences in different types of opals? Because there are several different types of opals, and it is a tendency, if you haven't been in the gem industry or bought a lot of gems, to not quite know what the differences are. So Heather's going to start us out with, what are opals chemically, where do they come from, and what are the differences between the different types?
Okay, so opals are a hydrated silica material. They do have inclusions, and they are not actually considered a... Sorry, am I stepping on your... Never mind.
What? No. I was just replying to Julie.
But they occur all over the world. There are different types of opals. So there are common opals, there are white precious opals, there are black precious opals, there are fire opals, which are not the same as precious opals. And I'll explain why in just a moment. So opal is really everywhere because silicon is absolutely one of the most abundant minerals or abundant elements that we have on Earth. So it's all over. It's very common.
Everything is a silicate.
Everywhere out there. Opals are weird because they are extremely filled with water. So they are hydrated silica. So they're different from a lot of the others out there. It's partly why they weigh so little, because they are not mostly rock. They've got a lot of space in the molecules and a lot of water. They also are they're awesome. Opals are so pretty.
Opals are so pretty.
So that's partly why dendrites grow so well in opals, because there is so much space between the little crystals that do occur in opals. So common opals. Common opals, most people, if they know they exist, then they know why they're called common opals, because they do not have any of what a lot of us call fire, what is called in the jewelry industry opalescence. And that, because, it's named after what it is. So they don't have that extra that the more precious opals do. Now, I tend to use the word fiery a lot to describe opals, because it's hard to look at a precious opal and say that is not fire. I mean, it just, the beauty of it just kind of hits you in the face, and it's overwhelming, and your brain goes, okay, fiery. But fire opals are way different from precious opals. Fire opals are primarily from Mexico. They found them in a few other locations in the world, but mostly they come from Mexico, and mostly they're called fire opal because they are in fire colors. They are they're everywhere from a really deep, rich blood red all the way to white. And they're a common opal. They're not typically the kind of opal that has what people call fire, but fire opal and precious opals are not interchangeable terms. So, fire opal is, unlike a lot of common opal, very often transparent, or at least translucent. Common opal is usually opaque. It also comes in a lot of different colors. You've probably seen white opal or pink opal. There are a couple different varieties of blue opal. You've got Peruvian opal, which is blue-green and kind of goes everywhere on that blue-green aqua, beautiful tropical ocean spectrum. You've also got blue opal from Africa, which is this beautiful periwinkle color. But again, none of these have any flash to them at all. And they just sit there and are beautiful because they're beautiful, not because they have anything else happening. Precious opals have a lot of little inclusions in them that reflect the light, and reflect the light in every color of the rainbow. So precious opals are very much more rare than any of the other opals we're talking about. Fire opals are pretty rare because they are mostly found in Mexico, but there are a fair bit of them in Mexico. White and black, naturally white and black precious opals are found primarily in Australia. And Australia, even though it is a continent, is not huge for a continent. There's only so much opal there to mine. However, we have found some more opal in Ethiopia over the years. And fairly recently, it's, you know, in the spectrum of the history of jewelry, fairly recently it has come on the market. And it's a lot more yellow in its base color than the white precious opals from Australia, but it still has all of the flash that you would ever get from the Australian opals. Main difference is the base color of that opal. It does come a little bit closer to the true white that you get from Australia on the higher end, but I love the golden tone of the willow opals. They're so pretty. Yes. So really what I'm saying here is I'm not kicking any opals out of bed. Unless they start scratching me, Julie.
There you go. I was going to say, I feel like you would have to kick Opal out of bed because you are allergic to her.
I'm allergic to one of the opals, yes.
But she could still be a harbinger of
good
luck and the epitome of class.
I mean,
she just can't sleep with Heather.
Yeah.
That's okay. She can come sleep in bed with me because I am not allergic to the opal kitty.
It's true. So, does that sound like a good intro?
That sounds like a good intro. I'm ready to move on. Okay, so anybody on this stream who's ever seen an opal, as Heather said, knows that they're freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, especially the precious opals, also known as gem opals, with their beautiful play of color. So, the play of color in opals can come off as very mystical and magical. And this is kind of where we start with the lore of opals. And so the name opalus it's Latin, so the Romans gave that name to the stone. It literally means precious stone. So opalus means precious stone. So
Australian opals are,
I'm
absolutely
sure they are
guarded by ginormous spiders.
What in Australia isn't guarded by, I mean, seriously.
Spiders are guarded by funnel spiders.
Ginormous spiders all over
or
Australia.
Or little tiny deadly octopi.
So the Romans named it opalus, which means precious stone. If you look at the legends, the very early legends of opals, you've got Arabic legend that the opals fell from the sky in bolts of lightning and were gifts from the divine.
That sounds right.
Greek mythology, opals were Zeus's joyful tears after winning the battle against the Titans. Australian Aborigines, the creator came to Earth on a rainbow, leaving these colorful stones where their feet touched the ground. Aztecs named fire opal after Quetzalcoatl. They believed that the stone of the bird of paradise could foster creativity and beginnings. And people in the Middle Ages used opal gemstones to bring them luck. It was believed that opals possessed and embodied all of the powers of each gemstone that appeared within their play of color. So it was basically kind of like an all-in-one luck package with the opal, because every color was represented, and so therefore it was going to do all of the good things for you. So all of these amazing, like, opals are great, opals are fabulous, gifts from the divine, like, so when did all of this start to turn to opals are bad, opals are unlucky? When I was growing up, my mom always used to say opals mean death. So where did all of that... invisibility. In the Middle Ages, people believed that opals could make you invisible. So, cool. But when did all this start to change? So there are a number of theories. There are some authors and scholars that think that it kind of veered south in the Middle Ages and then came back. But a whole lot of people really place the blame first on the King of Spain and then on Sir Walter Scott. So, King Alfonso the 12th of Spain was gifted an opal ring, have you the wing? An opal ring for his wedding. And he gave it to his wife, and she died. And then he gave it to his grandmother, and she died. And then he gave it to his sister, and she died. And then he gave it to his sister-in-law, and she died. And then finally he took possession of the ring, and he died. So Heather, why do you think they all died?
Probably because everyone dies.
Because there was an outbreak of cholera at the time.
Oh, well, that also can help.
So,
I mean, I don't think opal helps with cholera much.
So the science of the fact that there was an outbreak of cholera at the time kind of was subsumed by this legend of the opal being bad luck. And I will say that, bad luck for King Alfonso, with everyone in his family dying. Unfortunate. So then you come to Sir Walter Scott. Good old Sir Walter. And his... Heather, say this for me, the name of this novel. His novel was published in 1829.
Anne of Gemstone?
Anne of Gemstone, thank you. So there was a character in the book, Anne of Gemstone, named Lady Hermione. And Lady Hermione was I believe, notes all messed up. Okay, here we go. She was the grandmother of Anne. So Hermione was Anne's grandmother. And she appeared to possess magical powers at times. She seemed more like a will-o'-the-wisp than a human. And according to the narration, she always wore in her hair a golden clasp with an opal. And in Sir Walter's words, amid the changing lights peculiar to that gem, displayed internally a slight tinge of red like a spark of fire. It was said that the gem seemed to reflect her moods, as if it sympathized with the wearer's emotions. So, obviously what we have here is Sir Walter romanticizing the fact that opals change colors in different lights as the wearer moves. So unless Lady Hermione was standing perfectly still, of course her opal was going to flash and change colors. So
sometimes even if she did stand perfectly still.
Exactly, because especially in 1829 you're probably, and I don't actually know when this novel was set. It might have been set, in the past.
Because Sir Walter Scott is definitely known for...
Mm-hmm. So then you're talking about candlelight and candlelight flickering and, is going to make the opal, change colors and the flash change. But no, apparently it was all controlled by Lady Hermione, because let's put the blame on the powerful woman. So according to, again, the narration of the book, on the day of her daughter's christening, that would be Anne, the titular character of the book, drops of holy water struck her opal, which shot out a brilliant spark like a falling star, and became the instant afterwards lightless and colorless as a common pebble. So basically, holy water struck her opal and de-magicified it.
Wow.
And then Hermione collapsed, and 2 hours later was nothing but a handful of gray ashes. So that's So that's a lovely tale that basically kind of puts the opal in the realm of the sort of sinister, mystical, magical realm, which...
Anything that holy water can cure is not on the side of good.
Exactly. So you take that fictional tale, and then you also take the sheer fact that opals are a very fragile gem, and many gem cutters refused and still refuse to work with them because you break it, you buy it, or you break the king's opal, and you wind up, in the dungeon forever.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. So you add this, like, this mythology that's starting to form about opals being evil, because once again, as Heather said, anything that can be destroyed by holy water is not on the side of the angels. Plus the fact that, there's a lot of jewelers who are just like, no thank you, I shall not risk my life on this gem. I don't care how pretty it is. And you're starting to build the mythology of opals as an unlucky and bad something. An unlucky gem that has, bad connotations. So then we're going to go back to a few more legends that, kind of started circulating again. After good old Sir Walter's book, there was another outbreak of the Black Plague in 1860.
Oh, that's right.
The third pandemic. And at that point, the public, no one still knew the cause of the Black Plague. And so, of course,
germ theory not
so developed in 1860.
Yeah. I mean, some people knew what was up, but the general public, no.
Yeah. So, of course, the tendency, when not having any science upon which to lean, the populace blamed the 1860 outbreak on the supernatural, and somehow someone got out there a rumor that when a patient who had the Black Plague, who was wearing an opal, died, the color on the opal she wore vanished. So once again, we have this kind of idea of, like, the opals being the anima of some kind of supernatural and not benign spiritual presence. So then, around the turn of the century, we have the diamond dealers. Because opals were one of Queen Victoria's favorite stones. And so...
because Queen Victoria was right.
Yeah. And so then all of a sudden you've got the diamond dealers who are like, wait a minute. We need our product to be more popular than opals. And they were gaining market share around the turn of the century, and then opal imports from Australia started flooding in, and they started losing market share. So they started spreading rumors. And there's some really interesting stuff here, but basically they spread rumors about the gem. They reinforced all the rumors about opals being bad luck. Brought up all the stuff about people dying, all of the things about opals being animated by malicious intent, and then also brought into play the fact that opals crack, because as Heather stated at the beginning of the broadcast, they're mostly water. So eventually, sometimes the water will go from them through interaction with the atmosphere, and they will crack. It's a fairly common phenomenon with opals that even if they're not stressed in any way, sometimes they will spontaneously crack. And so the diamond dealers, who are incidentally selling one of the stones that is most difficult to crack, start spreading the rumor that any stone that cracks is bad luck. I know, right? And then there's also this really interesting rumor that's adjacent to that you can overwhelm the bad energy of an opal by surrounding it with diamonds.
Oh, okay.
So
you can fix it.
You can fix it
with diamonds or holy water. Either one. Diamonds practically are holy.
The diamonds will keep it pretty. The holy water will make it explode, and then you'll turn into a pile of ashes. So...
or will it definitely remove the pretty magical stuff from it?
Well, and then you'll turn into a pile of ashes. Sir Walter Scott said so.
When was he ever wrong before?
Exactly. But yeah, following the metaphysical practice of adding diamonds around the opal to overpower its energy. So the diamond dealers had a really great PR campaign going.
They always have.
Against the opals. They really have. So let's go back to, before all of this, before Sir Walter, before the diamond dealers, opals represented emotion, hope, enthusiasm, also, and this is one that all the ladies of Dallas are gonna like. Before the Black Plague, lots of Europeans wore opal to see better and also to stop their blonde hair color from fading. So,
I bet we could sell more.
Right?
We're just not marketing correctly.
And if we're going to go back to all the things that people used to think opals could do, the Greeks thought they could bring you clairvoyance and good fortune. One story states that Julius Caesar tried to convince a wealthy man to give up his opal, and the man decided to skip town and live in isolation instead. So sorry, Caesar, this opal is mine, and I'm gonna go live in a cave.
Unfortunately, it's actually pretty easy to find someone in a cave if they have an opal.
I mean, it depends on your light source, but yes. Yeah. So yeah, wrapping an opal in a bay leaf will make you invisible.
Wow.
Opals will bring you wealth. So anybody who wants to buy some opals to bring them wealth, I've got some here. And
assume that has to be an undried bay leaf, because wrapping something in a dried bay leaf.
I know, crunch, 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 crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna be, if you're invisible, you'll still be found.
And also, Romans believed that the opal's display of colors was because other gemstones were actually growing inside of the opal, which is kind of interesting. And by the way, after Sir Walter's book was published, opal sales dropped by 50%.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he was pretty influential.
So thanks, Sir Walter, for that nonsense. So, hold on, sorry. I did a really terrible job of collating my notes. Who's still out there? I see Taddy Fett. I see Julie.
They're too fascinated by what we're saying to say anything, which is good.
That would be great if that was the truth. Oh, I do need to talk about the space opal still. Oh, but let's talk about, here, read this one about this famous opal. Starts with the highlight and then goes to the next page. Famous opals.
Olympic Australis. Named for the Olympic Games held in Melbourne the year it was discovered, 1956. The Guinness Book of World Records has deemed it the largest and most valuable precious opal that has been discovered to date. According to John Altman and Rudy Cherney, who currently own and display the stone in their showroom in Sydney, Australia, the Olympic Australis is 99% gem opal, which means almost nothing holding it together except opal. As many opals form in small veins or pockets, this percentage of gem quality opal in relation to the host rock or ironstone is extraordinary, considering the stone's size and weight. If you have touched an opal, if you've held an opal, you know that one of the things about opals that makes them really unusual is how lightweight they are. So this is 280 millimeters, which is 11 inches long, 4.5 inches high, which is 115 millimeters, 120 millimeters, 4 3/4 inches wide, and weighs 17,000 carats.
That's a lot.
Which is a lot, especially if there's no matrix. Like the ironstone not being there, that's insane. The overall stone has a
3,400 grams.
3,400 grams, which is 3.4 kilograms.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a whole lot. I would still wear it as a necklace. It would definitely be an occasion piece, but I would wear it as a necklace. It would really be more of a breastplate. Let's be fair.
Seriously.
The overall stone has a white background color with ample play of color. It's been left in its rough state with minimal host rock on its surface, but if it were to be cut, it could potentially create 10,000 1-carat stones after taking into account the loss due to the cutting process. It was discovered in Cooper Petty's 8-mile opal field at a depth of 30 feet, so barely even under the earth as far as rocks are concerned.
Yeah.
So the back of the stone apparently bears an impression of the leaf of the ginkgo tree, which in some places is known as the Chinese maidenhair tree, which I've never heard before, so not in these places. But it was discovered in 1915 in the Bald Hill workings in Lightning Ridge. But no, that's a different, I'm talking about a different one. I'm talking about the Flame Queen opal, because now I've switched pages.
But wait, there was a thing about 93 pounds.
Yes, which was not the one that we just talked about. This is a different opal. But look at this. Look at the red fire on that opal.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So that's the Flame Queen opal. The last sale of that particular opal was in 2008 by Bonham's Auction House in Los Angeles. It sold for $120,000. But the really impressive part of that is that the 3 miners who discovered it in 1915 sold it for 93 pounds because they needed food. 93 pounds.
93 pounds, and it sold for 120,000.
Yeah, 120,000.
Which incidentally is about 93,680 pounds.
Yeah. So,
Hi, Corvus. Yes, opals, and you weren't here.
But you can go back and listen, because there's a lot of talking about opals.
Okay, I feel like this one is for you too.
Okay. But I also feel like I'm glad Corvus is here for the story you have about space.
Space opals, yes. And you have dinosaur opals.
Totally have dinosaur opals.
Because one of the many cool things about opals is it's one of the things that tends to replace organic matter in fossilization.
Yes.
So there are a lot of, not a lot of, they're kind of rare, but there are a fair number of opalized fossils out there, which are freaking cool.
I want one.
Including
Eric the plesiosaur. Or pliosaur. So, look. But he is shiny. He is the most complete opalized fossil skeleton of a vertebrate found to this day. So, not a dinosaur, but a small marine reptile. And, let's see, it's about 2.5 meters long, the fossil. And about the size of a current day seal. And short-necked carnivorous reptile that lived in the inland seas of South Australia in the Cretaceous period, which was about 120 to 100 million years ago. So it's not quite the precious opal that you see in a lot of things, but it definitely is a white opal with a play of color and in an entire skeleton the size of a seal, which is crazy cool.
So yay, Eric. And does it say where Eric is on display?
Eric is on display, yes, I think. Oh, they also discovered about a dozen tiny fossilized fish within the rib cage, which Eric ate for his last meal. And now they're opals.
Now they're tiny opal fish. Tiny opal fish. Opal fish. Fish.
It is in the Australian Museum in Sydney on display.
Awesome. So at some point, we all need to make a field trip.
We do. I'm okay
there
with
to
that.
see Eric.
Yes, even if there are deadly
Say
spiders.
hi, Eric. I know. Well, giant spiders.
Well, the
spiders in Australia are very large.
Either they're large or they're deadly, or both. But the nice thing about the spiders in Australia is you can almost hear them coming. Because they're that big.
Oh, God. Stop.
But then we could go visit Eric and be friends with him. Don't you want to be friends with Opals?
I want to be friends with Eric. I don't want the spiders.
Well, like I said, you can run from them.
Punt them.
No. Let some locals punt them. They know how.
That's fair.
Okay. It's a
dinosaur. It's a small... No, it's a prehistoric marine mammal. Not a dinosaur. Reptile.
Yeah.
Prehistoric marine reptile. Okay, so... Yes, it has little fish. Okay, so in conclusion... So we're gonna... I'm gonna try this format for our podcast for a bit of trying to pick a gemstone each podcast and talk about some cool, interesting scientific facts and also myths and legends about said gemstone. So I think we're going to do pearls next week.
Awesome.
We'll see. Because we do have a lot of research.
Yes, we might have shiny dinosaur.
We might have more than one episode on pearls because I have lots of research on pearls.
Well, you can't leave out that last story, of course.
Of course, no. I'm about to.
You need opal fish too.
Who doesn't need opal fish? I mean, it's like who? I want opal half circle fish.
Yes. Half circle fish.
Okay, so the last opal thing for this evening is pretty cool, and this is about opals and the future of space travel. So, in subsurface fractures on Mars, NASA's rover vehicles have actually discovered large deposits of opals. And since opals aren't technically a mineral because they don't have a tight crystalline structure, they're a hydrated silicate, water can actually be extracted from the opal deposits. So
on purpose or by accident.
On purpose or by accident. So the water-rich opal deposits on Mars could be used as a source of water for future crewed missions to that particular planet. So that's opals furthering the future of space travel and exploration, which I think is pretty badass for opals.
I don't mind having a ring or a necklace made out of the dehydrated opals.
Yeah.
I think there's a market for that.
There's definitely a market for dehydrated Mars opals, for sure. Yeah. So that is opals. So opals are a really great, like, from the past into the future, kind of thing, and all the twists and turns in between. As far as the superstitions surrounding opals, you believe whatever you want to believe, but I believe they're beautiful gemstones, and I am proud and happy to wear them whenever I have the opportunity. And it's interesting to examine how we got there, how we got here. Again, thank you, Sir Walter. And also it has been observed that the opal hair clip in that novel might just be a reference to the fact that opals were thought to preserve the color of blonde hair.
Oh.
It might not even have been intended as an opals are sinister kind of thing, but the reading public just kind of took that and ran with it, and then then you got the diamond dealers who are piling on with everything. So I think my point is, if you like opals, wear opals, and if you feel the need to surround them with diamonds, good for you. But I think that they are gorgeous and lovely all on their own. I know that a lot of you feel that way as well, and I have a number of opal strands that I will be breaking up for tomorrow night's sale.
Woohoo!
So, just saying. If anybody missed out, and I do have one strand of black opals floating around somewhere in my house, so I'm going to see if I'll see if Elton can help me find them.
Tell us that you get opal half fish.
If I ever find opal half circle fish tally foot, you will be the second person to get one because Heather will be the first. But I have never seen opal half circle fish yet.
Which is so sad.
Is Vivi sad? It's true.
Look at that. Virgin rainbow opal.
Freaking gorgeous. Yeah, I have a couple pretty ones. Let's see. You've got Eric. What do I have over here? I've got a couple that I didn't talk about because it's just like this opal is giant and expensive, which is, you know, fun, but not as fun. That's the Flame Queen one.
And we don't yet have a guy who sells Mars opals. Oh, by the way, if you subscribe to Properties of Stones, common opal, which I talked about not having the flash, not having the fire, it calms emotions. It's for calming and purifying. But precious opals, with all the everything going on, are supposed to amplify and intensify emotions. So choose wisely.
And if you wrap them in a bay leaf, they might just make you invisible.
I'm trying that later.
I mean, seriously.
Peasant opals. The common people.
The common opals. All right, so that's going to be it for the button list. We're also going to try and keep it to an hour for a while because I am going to try and actually rip the sound off of this and make it a real live podcast that I can publish and things. So, so we're going to go with this myths and legends around precious gemstones for a while. So thank y'all so much for hanging out with us on our Buttonless podcast this evening. I'm Allison.
And I'm Heather.
From Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. You can find us, of course, on twitch.tv/beadingdream every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night with tutorials and live sales, and also with our Buttonless podcast every Wednesday at 7:30. And you can also check out our Etsy shop at etsy.com/beadingdreamsdallas. We're about to list a bunch of new stuff on there.
Woohoo!
Right? Who's trying the door at 8:30 p.m.?
Sounds like people who had margaritas. So,
fair.
Carry on.
All right, so Corvus, rewatch the episode. Let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else will be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream. Thank you, Corvus. Tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. with a live merchandise sale, including small, short opal strands. And yes, Corvus was kind enough to put all of our socials in the chat. You can follow us at facebook.com/beadingdreams, instagram.com/beadingdreams, youtube.com/ what? Beading Dreams? Okay, I have no idea. tiktok.com/beadingdreams. And
Tallyfat, I wish it were you.
Oh,
we'd let you in.
We'd let you in, but it's not you, and we know. Half circle fish.
And we
you.
don't have any half circle fish for you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Silver, but you can rewatch the episode. We're gonna try and keep them to an hour for a little bit because I'm trying to Okay, I've got it. Okay, I need to figure out how to do that.
Yes.
Got it. So, good night, everybody, and we'll see y'all tomorrow at 6:30 for a live merchandise sale with fun, cool stuff, including CZ charms, which I know Heather didn't get to while I was gone. So we're going to bundle some of those up and sell some of those tomorrow night, along with some other stuff, including opals. So everyone have a great night, and we will see you back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream, tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Okay, everyone take care. Bye!
Bye!